seems like your offense has really found its stride, especially over the last 3 weeks. What was working tonight, especially on
Yeah, I thought Ryan in the second half, we played with a little bit better pace, took care of the ball a little bit more. We've added some new sets. Started the game off with a new play again, and got us a little bit downhill. In game, we added a kind of a double V set that we haven't run all year, and that opened up dribble drive angles for Desmond. But the 3-point shooting, tonight was one of those games that if you look at CSUN stats coming into the game, they really do a good job keeping the lane compact. So we felt like, feet set threes were going to be a formula to at least give us some points. And then, they're so aggressive defensively that if you don't take advantage by getting free throws attempted, you're doing yourself a disservice. So free throws attempted, getting to the line was something we talked about the last couple of days in our prep. We played obviously 3 games of winning by 20 or more, and then the Oregon game, and we've played really good basketball for 4 games, even though we lost one of them. And so we're moving in the right direction. We're a ball club that's been improving. Thought we took a step back in the first half tonight, and then we talked about that at halftime and came out. And obviously, to win the second half, 50-30 is hard to do.
Hey, Coach, you have 4 guys in double figures. Can you talk about just the guys' unselfishness today?
Yeah, when you looked at the ball movement tonight, 18 assists. Desmond was phenomenal, 9 assists to just 1 turnover. A player that people wondered if he could be a point guard. There's not a lot of point guards in the country that play a whole season and can have a 9-to-1 assist to turnover ratio and score the ball at the rate that he is, because he scores 21 points on 11 shots. So super effective. And we hope that he's growing in this kind of new position. And then his 3-point shot. You watch it in practice, and it's improving, and Saint's improving his 3-point shooting, and so that's super important to us as teams try to take away our free throw attempt game.
Mus, it seemed like as you look at kind of the makeup of these 2 rosters with CSUN too, very similar in terms of small ball. You guys both play fast with what Andy Newman's doing. Just in general, in that particular aspect of how this program has developed, how have they come along to more what you're trying to do in terms of pace, small ball, just in these first kind of few weeks of your tenure?
Yeah, but I think, Luca, again, I think it just takes a little bit of time. It takes game film, to teach. You can do stuff in the summer, you can do stuff in October, but you need like a body of work to really let things sink in. And every basketball season there's ups and downs, especially in year one. And we hit a lull. I thought, out of the gates, we didn't really fully grasp the concept of how hard we needed to play. We didn't fully grasp the pace that we wanted to, running the floor. We knew that CSUN wanted to run, Coach Newman, when he, his prior place at the Division II level, they ran, and they're committed to it. We wanted to run with them. We didn't say let's slow the ball down. We felt, hey, that's their strength. Let's play our strength too, and they like an up-tempo game, so let's run with them and see what happens.
Coach, I assume you weren't very happy with the first half, and I'm wondering what you said to the players at halftime, since it looked like a very different game.
Yeah, I just thought, I thought we started the game off again great. We got up 10 or 11. The starters have done it, whoever started, because we've had a whole bunch of different starting lineups. Been super impressed with how we've come out of the gate. I've never had a team at any level start games like this team has. Hopefully it'll happen on Sunday at 1. But then we just kind of reverted back to who we were the first 6 games of the year. Not getting loose balls, getting out-reacted, not rebounding at the rate that we had against Oregon and Washington. And so we just talked about that, hey, we do not want to take a step back. So I think, and then you weren't going to play if you didn't change. We had, I thought Desmond was too comfortable in the first half, and And we just needed to have more of a sense of urgency. And look, I told the team, which is true, it's super hard to win 3 games in a row by 20 or more. That's not an easy thing to do. And then the 4th game out, you lead most of the game. I mean, you look at these games, and I mean, CSUN only had a lead for a minute in a 40-minute college game. It's hard to do what we've done leading for entire games. I mean, it's happened, I think, 3 games in a row where virtually the other team has a lead. Not at all. That just doesn't happen.
Coach, schematically in the first half, you guys shot the ball fairly well offensively, scoring 60% from 3. You guys still managed to make it a really tight game in the first half. Was CSUN doing anything, that kind of saw that you gave problems earlier in the first half, and then what were the adjustments that you made in the second half to hold them to 30 points?
Yeah, they outreacted us to loose balls for sure. They pounded the offensive glass. We didn't do a good enough job. If they're going to go to the glass that hard, we got to run when they don't get it. And so I think that was indicative of the 50 points instead of the 40 in the first half. Let them go to the glass, and then we got to secure more defensive rebounds and fly. Really, it was that, and then it was just letting a couple guys know that if they didn't play with the intensity that we wanted, that they might be sitting down next to us for a minute, 2 or 20.
Hi, Coach. You held their leading scorer, Marcus Adams Jr., to only 4 points. What sort of defensive scheme or defensive player do you accredit to that?
Yeah, so we felt between number 7, Jones, number 12, Scotty Washington, and number 8, Marcus Adams Jr., that we had to hold 2 of those 3 in check. We felt like you're not going to stop 3. They kind of have a 3-headed monster, so to speak, as far as scoring. And so the deal was, how do we stop 2 of the 3? And because Jones is such a good passer, you look at Jones's stats numbers, we felt like the 2 guys that we could take out of the game were Washington and Adams, and we were able to do that. And it was a multitude of guys. It wasn't just one guy defensively. But to hold Adams to 2 of 9, and he doesn't get a free throw attempt, and then to hold Scotty Washington to 0 for 6, that's the ball game right there, because they need those 2 guys to score for them. And I thought we did a really good job staying attached to Scotty Washington because of his 3 balls, and with Adams we did a really good job of shrinking the floor when he did put it on the floor, because he's got a good spin game off the bounce.
Their guard, PJ Fuller, had 12 points in the first half. He was 4 for 5 and hit 4 threes. What was the halftime adjustment on him?
Yeah, it was, don't let him get another 3-ball attempt. Not don't make it 3. Don't let him make it 3. Just don't let him get an attempt up. And we had to change our pick and roll coverage, because they come down the floor almost every time and they run a drag to start their offense. Which is kind of a middle pick and roll, and then they play out of it. And so we started going over the top of that screen. We felt coming into the game, Fuller was really good going to his right hand off the bounce. So, we had to make an adjustment. We took one thing away, which is dribble drive, and he burned us. And so then you have to make an adjustment if your scheme's not working. And obviously, it wasn't working. We didn't do a good enough job. We guessed wrong, whatever you want to say, and then we made an adjustment and took it away.
CSUN is a program that's pretty heavily prioritized local recruiting under Andy Newman. You guys, your staff, has been in a lot of local gyms, just popping up across the last few months. A 2-parter here, but what is the importance that you see of recruiting Southern California, Los Angeles, as you think about building this program? And was there any importance to you of winning this game today, kind of in that regard, in front of the local crowd, so to speak?
Yeah, yes. Yes, and yes. To be successful here, we have to recruit LA. And not recruit it a little bit. We have to recruit it relentlessly. And we're new, so we're going to have to earn trust from people. We're going to have to earn style of play that people want to play in this. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff, and it's not easy in year 1. But just as we did at Arkansas, it was not from Arkansas. and we were putting a fence around Arkansas, which we did. And that's how you get Nick Smith and Moses Moody and a lot of really, really good basketball players. Jalen Williams, all guys that went on to the NBA, and we have to do the same thing here. Like we, you know, a big attraction to the job at USC was looking at the landscape of past players from LA, which I already knew. I mean, I can go all the way back to Eldridge Hudson playing. You guys don't know who he is, but I do, because that's who I played against in 8th grade from LA. And LA's always had incredible talent, and so that was a huge attraction to this job. Is what great basketball there is, and there's great high school coaches in LA. Like you go to a high school game in LA. I mean, I can name 15 high school coaches that are freaking phenomenal. And so it's, you know, you're getting guys that are well coached too. It was a 4-part question. I did all 4. Thank you.
Yeah, basically.
You guys followed up a 3-game losing streak with a 3-game winning streak. What do you feel like just over that time this team has figured out, and with only 1 game left before the Big Ten schedule, what do you feel like there still is to figure out?
I mean, we got to get better. You know, we still tonight we didn't protect the rim. We didn't go vertical. They got too many paint points. We got to be physical when we wall up on defense, because we're not going to block shots. So we got to wall up better. Continuing to add offensive sets. I mean, we've been a team that tries to take advantage of mismatches, and so if your playbook expands, you're able to move people around, and then when somebody tries to make an adjustment, you can, you know, like that 2 seconds baseline out of bounds, we did a great job of executing 13 opposite. So those little things, I don't know if we could have done that in Palm Springs. I don't know if we understood the timing, spacing, second and third options on a play. So it's a grind. Like you can't cave in when you lose 2 or 3 in a row. You got to get back the next day, and I think the team's done a really good job of that.
All right, last question.
Coach, you had talked a lot about you guys making adjustments and different schemes and the things of that nature. Can you elaborate on just your coaching staff and how y'all able to make mid-game adjustments or just adjustments watching film or whatever the case may be?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to come into a game with like a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C, and that's our whole staff talks about those things. We have a group text. We'll text each other ideas after watching film. You know, and then you got to make adjustments. It's like, I mean, there's all these people don't understand, like in a college basketball game and an NBA game, there's a lot of mini meetings that happen. There's a meeting at 40 before the game starts. There's a meeting at 12 before the game starts. There's a meeting after the introductions. There's all the timeouts. There's that's a lot of meetings. And so you got to let the team hear different voices, and you've got to come at different angles, because otherwise you come in with the same tone, you come in with the same message every one of those meetings. You could only imagine at all of our different walks of life, and if you think about having the same meetings, nobody has as many meetings as we do on game day. I mean, IBM doesn't meet that many times, right, in the course of the day. So you got to have different plans. You've got to talk about them in practice. You can't just wing it in a game. I mean, you got to have alternate plans for if things don't go well, like Fuller. It didn't go well, right? We thought we had a good game plan. Go under, take away his right-hand drive, and he killed us. And so you have to make an adjustment. You have to be willing to admit, hey, this is not working, and let's go to what we've talked about doing as a secondary plan.
Desmond, I don't know if it was you out there. You were saying, you know, you've been coming in here a lot of games in a row. Things have been going well for you. Just in general, in terms of how you've developed, you know, as a point guard, 9 assists, 1 turnover tonight. How has that progression of your game come along? Wes was just talking about, you know, guys to know if you could, you know, nationally could play point guard. How has that come along for you this year?
I would say just watching a lot of film and just listening to the coaches like Conroy. He played in the NBA, was a point guard. A lot of guys done been around the league, so they seen a lot. So just listening and just trying to read the game, watching a lot of game film, and you know, also another big thing is just trusting my teammates. I know they can shoot. I know they're gonna make the play. So And CSUN, helped a lot on drive, so the kickouts was there, and, I just had to make the simple play.
Chibuzo, you had 39 minutes played tonight, shooting a really efficient 5 for 7 from 3. I mean, this is a really good game from you guys offensively. You guys shot 63% from 3 as a team. What were you guys seeing, and what were you seeing specifically from CSUN's defense?
Just like Des said, they were collapsing a lot in the gaps. They were giving us some open threes. A lot of these guys have been in the gym every single day, just getting a lot of shots up, and it's starting to show. We shot 63% as a team from the 3, so a lot of guys were hitting tonight, and that's just a testament of the work right there.
Desmond, this offense, it seems like it's sort of hit a new stride these last 3 games. What do you feel like has been the biggest difference over the course of that winning streak?
I would say we're figuring out how to play with each other. But yeah, we're starting to click. We got some new plays, and we're just trusting coach. That's all we could do. Trust the game plan. He's been to a lot of places that we want to go, so just listening and continuing to do our individual work. It's paying off, and we're getting better. The game is slowing down for a lot of us, and we're playing well. And we're just trusting coach and just going out and playing free.
This is a question for both of you all. Can you elaborate on just how important is it to have the coaching staff, like you just mentioned, Desmond, to have that experience that can help you to get to the next level?
It means a lot. A lot of us is trying to go to where they've been, and they've been there and done that in both places, college and NBA. So they've seen a lot. They have really good careers. So just listening and honing in on what they're saying is key for us. It helps our high IQ get better, and also we're listening, we're playing better. So if what they saying to do is working, and we're just gonna keep on doing it. And then like Buzo said, we're all getting in the gym and in the show tonight, and we're just gonna continue to do that.
I think it's just like a great tool to have those guys around that have been the places you want to go and have done the things you're trying to do. So anytime I got a question about anything, I know I can go ask those guys, and they're gonna give me a great answer. And above and beyond that, like, we can go work on it with them too. So it's just great to have those guys, and it's great for skill development.
It was a very hyper-specific question for you. You seem to draw a lot of fouls on threes. Is that something that just comes naturally as a result of? Is it like a skill you develop? How does that work out?
I just try to land. Like, I just want to shoot the ball and land, and people don't let me land, so I just get the calls.
Oh man.
Hey, congratulations to you both. You both played great games. Des, it seems like you have really hit your stride in terms of getting into the lane with the ball and either getting a good shot or drawing fouls. What's been the difference for you? Because you drew 8 fouls tonight. That's pretty good.
Yeah. You just take it what the defense give me. I mean, that was one of the things they liked about me when they was recruiting me to come here. So, and that's just part of my game, drawing fouls, especially as a bigger guard. It's just, and then, I got teammates that can space the floor out and hit shots, so it puts a lot of pressure on the defense to, whether they're going to help or not help. So, it just makes the defense, just think, and then the offense here is more spacious and stuff where I could, create and do those things.